Police's social media sickness. That is the front page of the Daily Mail this morning. The paper reporting nearly 1,000 police officers and staff have been investigated for misogynistic, sexist, racist and homophobic online posts.
So, are the police failing to protect us? We're joined now by former Met Superintendent Leroy Logan, who says the force is not fit for purpose, and former Met Senior Detective Sue Hill, who thinks it's tiresome that the police are constantly knocked and that we need Dame Cressida Dick to stay at the head of the Met now more than ever. So, Sue, can I start with you? Why? The case for the defence for Cressida Dick?
Well, it's not about defending anyone. I'm not here to defend the police. I think they are doing the best job they can in difficult circumstances. But I do think Cressida right now, at a time when you need stability in the biggest force in the country, she's the person to stay there and lead us through whatever is, the priority for policing at the moment. And it's clear. She will be heartbroken, devastated. We all know how we all feel as cops. I'm sure Leroy would agree. Even when you leave the police service, you're still part of that police family. So for Cressida and the rest of the serving cops, we're all devastated this has happened. However, we just need to keep sight of at the moment, this is one bad apple. This is one man who's been rooted out. And I think it's interesting that, when you read what the judge has said about the investigation, this is the best investigation he's ever seen, and commended those officers who led that investigation. So I do think, whilst it's devastating, we're all heartbroken, but actually the police did a fantastic investigation, and let's not lose sight of that.
Leroy Logan, you're a former superintendent with the same police force. I find this particular fact extraordinary, that the Met were handed CCTV of Wayne Couzens flashing a drive-through McDonald's worker 3 days before Sarah Everard's murder. The car's number plate was entered into the DVLA's registration index, threw up the name of Wayne Couzens as the vehicle's owner, as well as his home address. But officers failed to complete the jigsaw and did not work out that he was a serving police officer with the Met. I mean, how on earth did that not happen?
It just beggars belief. In all honesty, it's either they're so incompetent or there's some sort of closing of ranks to cover him for whatever reason. And it makes me absolutely laugh when I hear it's a bad apple. This is more than just a bad apple. In fact, the barrel might be rotten, because when you've got, just with Couzens, 26 colleagues who have committed 20 sexual offences over the last 5 years, including rape, possession of indecent images, and voyeurism, to say the least. And then we even have a DPG officer, again, being charged for rape only yesterday. There is no way this is just a bad apple. The culture has hardened during the commissionership of Cressida Dick. And she's the last person to preside over culture change. It's like asking Dracula to be in charge of a blood bank.
But Leroy, do you not, though, accept Sue's point that most police officers, including Cressida Dick, even though I accept she's in a position of leadership, so it's different, but most police officers are going to be just as horrified as you and everybody else about what they've heard and seen in the last few days. And most of us actually feel the need to want to trust the police.
In all honesty, I know the culture as a black man in the organisation for 30 years. And I know the strength of that culture change. What it actually does, it can, especially in these specialist units like Diplomatic Protection Group, they're very isolated. They're their own rule makers in a lot of ways. And there's no critical distance between the supervision, the sergeants, the inspectors. They're not holding them to account, because Couzens should have been tracked down long time ago if the supervisors were doing the right thing and holding him to account. So that for me shows that the health of the organisation, not just the DPG but wider, is really getting to an extent where you have to think, are they fit for purpose? So you need to change the head of the organisation to bring in the culture change and to ensure there's independent oversight. We need political will on this as well. It's not leaving police to do it themselves. You need a political will to get that culture change. As we saw with the McPherson inquiry, with those recommendations and the independent oversight, the Stephen Lawrence steering group, it brought in culture change. And from 1999 to 2009, we saw it. Since then, it's just tailed off.
Sue Hill, do you agree with Lord Blair, former Commissioner, that there should be a pretty major root and branch review? He agrees with you that Cressida Dick shouldn't go, but do you not agree that there has to be some kind of root and branch review that gets to the heart of the cultural issues that Leroy Logan is talking about?
I do think we should have some ongoing vetting. You know, when people are in an organisation for many years, things change. But I do take issue with something that Leroy said. Over many years as a detective, I have investigated crimes against police officers and arrested them if they were wrong, and some of them were convicted. So, Leroy, I don't believe, and I will not accept, that police officers collude together to protect bad apples. I do not believe that, and I will not accept it, and I can prove it.
But
so
Sue,
I just also,
Sue, I think
let's not keep knocking the old bill. Let's stop knocking the police. Yeah. That's all. I come on this programme, I'm not defending them, but when I just mentioned about the judge, what he said about the investigation, there's never balance in policing. Yes, there has to be a review around women and violence against women, but that reflects society. Society needs to take responsibility. How our young men and how these men are going on and growing up and maturing. That is not a police problem. There are wider issues, but just calling for one person to be sacked, that's not going to solve anything. We need to have a real proper review.
So part of the reason I think that Leroy Logan gave that answer was because of this point about how this CCTV of Wayne Couzens flashing somebody wasn't immediately flagged up that he was a police officer. And the Met has referred itself to the Independent Office of Police Conduct. That's now looking into the handling of the report. Then you have the Daily Mail this morning saying nearly 1,000 police officers and staff have been probed for posting offensive social media content. And the figures revealed in the Sunday Mirror, 26 Met police officers have committed sex offences since 2016. I know you're very concerned. You don't want to, cast a shadow over the entire police, but there is currently, crisis of confidence, and that's catastrophic for the police and for us. We want to trust the police. We need to.
Well, I'm trying to reassure you that there's two sides here, and let's just wait and see what that review brings in. But also, 99.9% of cops out there, like the public, 99.9%, are trying to do the right thing. But please, let's not, frighten everybody that we have got every rapist, in the police service. No, they're a reflection of society. And what really gets me, I do think ongoing vetting, of course there should be vetting. Yes, we would love to have got him earlier and rooted him out. However, I spent my time, like you did, Leroy. I joined in the 70s when things were bad. I did something about it. I didn't talk about it on the sidelines. I got stuck in as a female and made sure we made a difference. So I'm not going to sit here today and argue that point with you, but I do think, we both come from the same view. We love policing. We know that most police officers are good people. And are there some failures? Yeah. Are there some problems? Yeah. But actually, I do believe Cressida being in charge will make the difference that we need.
Leroy Logan, you think that Cressida Dick should go, but what would a new commissioner do, in your mind, which would clear this problem up?
Well, you'll get greater trust and confidence in the black community because all this change we're talking about has to have the backing of the public. When Cressida Dick came in as commissioner a few years back, I actually was very hopeful, and I went public on to that effect. Despite the issues with Stockwell and the real doubts people had, but we said, no, she can do it. And during this time, she has made so many, I think, underestimating the issues of the black community in particular. For example, last year, during Black Lives Matter, just after George Floyd, she announces she's going to stop investigating the Stephen Lawrence inquiry. And as a result of that, that was a real kick in the teeth for the Lawrences, the wider public, and it was unnecessary. She didn't have to do it. And as a result of that, you know, when you've got a head who's not holding the junior officers to account, when they're not really, when they seem to be protecting and closing ranks, as Cressida is perceived to have, you need to think she's not going to be part of the future.
OK.
She's part of the past.
OK. Leroy, Logan, thanks very much indeed. And Sue Hill, thank you to you as well.